105112, Fred Smith, Norm Swan, Elliot Vias. Anyone else 3D printed for me? Woofer, I hope lots of people have, although obviously you shouldn't. Pete Webb is here, Troy Belding, John Payton, Justin Thomas Black, Andrew Dignan, Mr. Meerkat. That is audio is on, and it's one of those demoralizingly done games that is advertised repeatedly on YouTube, which is clearly aimed at the lowest common denominator. Very odd, but not to worry. So I see the name shooting up. That means everything has begun. Let us begin the stream with sterilization. I don't know if we still need sterilization, but let's sterilize anyway, since it has become a tradition and it gives the YouTube algorithm something to use as a thumbnail. And people are saying, what's the purple thingies waving past the screen? It is my mechanics leak detection one that is being sold as the sterilization device. I still see so many things being sold online that are just still trying to follow on the COVID thing. Then again, lots of people are still getting COVID. It's just less fashionable now, apparently. So much cum in your hat. What? Cum in my hat? I'm not really sure. Yes. I was sterilised years ago, Zeba the Fat. I have no need for sterilisation. I just don't do it. There you go. That's as sterilised as you get. And it is time for a Jägermunion. Chip Guy is equipped with Jägermeister again. That is good. I shall join you with a Jägermunion too. Let me think of something topical. I knew some musician has died, but you know, that's Jägermunions to dead people is no good. I will say, a lot of musicians and actors die at very old ages. I wonder why that is. It seems much older than people who have perhaps more physical jobs. Super gonorrhea is everywhere. That is excellent, Rifleman. I'll try and avoid getting that. It would be most embarrassing, but it's quite a low risk. Do you relax when you don't do it? What? Raven Linney. So the Kung flu is a joke. I haven't a clue. I don't know what the latest fashionable thing is. Oh, here we go. To the Royal Mail. The Royal Mail, well, the people who work for the Royal Mail, but not necessarily the people who maintain its IT systems, owing to the fact it's in the middle of a ransomware attack and all the international mail being shipped out the country is not going out, and they're not accepting it anymore. That's impressive. I do hope they make a graceful recovery. I do hope they don't pay the ransom seekers, because then it will just end up this endless cycle of taxpayers' cash being used to pay the ransom, even though it's a privately owned company owned by friends of the government, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Little mini rant, political statement. So we'll start off. Had not COVID at Christmas was fucking brutal. To my local Royal Mail postie, not Royal Mail, indeed, Graham Shaw. Postal thing had bit me in the ass, absolutely, Mouse, because a lot of stuff gets sent out and, well, people are saying, where's my item? Well, the answer is it's in a warehouse somewhere under a huge mountain of stuff. That's where it is. Being crushed. Glad I'm not one of their shareholders. Do they have shareholders, Tom Houston? My postie is a bit of a babe. That's the uniform thing, Frank Walker. It always has that effect. My postie is Greek. Happy Little Fox, A.K. Bench, does he have a proper Greek beard? That's quite good. I like the Greek beards. To be honest, most folks are good about it. They are, Mouse. I had a situation where I was shipping my electronic kits to America, and it was the point at which suddenly e-commerce took off, and the USPS, the United States Postal Service, decided they had too much mail to deal with. So what they did was they suddenly said, oh, we're worried about terrorism, let's clamp down on the mail coming into the country. And they refused to accept airmail and demanded, they turned them back, and it all had to be shipped by sea instead. So I paid for airmail and it was shipped by sea. It took so long that I'd refunded so many people for orders that just never arrived. And then a lot of them, because it was technical, were honest. And actually said, it's arrived. I'd sent out replacements by that time. They paid for the original as well. because it was a useful project. Live check 404 not found. You're right. Check the little red dot in the progress bar is showing live. If it's not, then make sure it's not actually still running live. It might be you're joining the stream after the stream is finished, but if it's in the progress and the chat is active, well, the chat will be active after. It'll be showing the replay of the chat. But if you can't kind of contribute in the chat, that means it probably isn't live. But if you can, just check you're up to date at the live bit. We are an honest bunch, Matt and Ballet. I had no real major problems shipping electronic kits out because people were super honest. How much lag is there tonight? There's no lag at all, to the best of my knowledge. There never really is. Let me just find that out right now. Testing. 1 second, that's going straight out. Just while we put one of those low voltage LED bulbs with E287 base in a 240 volt fitting. No, because that'd be a waste of one of those lamps. For those wondering what's being talked about there, the patrons have just had a video which shows, well, I'll grab one of the lamps. It's a bunch of festoon. I've been making quite a few videos about these things recently. But the interesting thing about these ones is that it is designed to operate off 5 volts. It comes with a USB connector. It doesn't have a USB connector anymore because I removed it to reverse engineer it. But the lamps unscrew and they are E27, but they are rated for 5 volts. 3 volt filaments with a little resistor in series. And you could screw them into a 240 volt socket, but to be honest, I don't think it'd be exciting because, well, maybe it would be exciting. Usually the LEDs just fail in a controlled manner. Less so with individual LEDs, so it might be dramatic. Who knows? Maybe I will in a later video. That string is very impressive. You could run it off. I tested it on just a lithium cell, and it would run on about 5 amp hour lithium pack or two 18650s for well, best part of a day probably. It would gradually reduce in intensity, but you're going to get at least 12 hours out of it. Are you still burning copper on your fire? Copper on my fire? I don't even know what that means. Can you rejuvenate a lithium ion battery that's gotten old, or does the chemistry just fail? Monkey Man here. They lose capacity as they get older. You can sometimes replenish them by just doing a few, if it's just been sitting for a while, you can do a few charge and discharge cycles. But to be honest, you can't really rejuvenate them as such, not that I'm aware of. Might be worth investigating. I'm sure that somebody somewhere will have a video up saying you can rejuvenate them simply by banging them with a hammer and sticking 240 through them. That's the sort of videos we get on the internet. Trent Earth Airgun's got a Bible calendar in the mail. I was hoping for a car parts titty calendar. That would be disappointing, yes. Thank you, Chris Gurr, much appreciated. Sean, I do indeed have all the lead-based solder. It's tons of lead. I'm not going to run out in a long time. It's behind you. Oh, the copper. Oh, yes, the green fire. Absolutely. I'm thinking I might replace that or augment it with a new panel. Have you ever 3D modeled anything that isn't OpenSCAD? I've not really. I just kind of got started with OpenSCAD and it's what I've used since. John McFerrin, I do not have 415 volt here, sadly. I'd have to go out into the street with a bucket truck and basically 2 crocodile clips and go over the overhead lines. That's the only convenient 415 locally. Or in a panel. The street lighting panel might have it. They're all overhead though. Ah. 60/40 or eutectic? It's probably 60/40. That's what I've always tended to use. I've never really gone into the other details. Tom Houston says OpenSCAD is great. It's a controversial area. Some people hate it. Some people love it. I quite like it. I like the fact that what you get is very precise. You can nudge and adjust. You can use the parametric scripts. Other people prefer the graphical interface. How does a fluke meter which detects resistance or voltage at the same setting work? Does it have something to do with low impedance? I would guess if it doesn't detect any voltage there, it will go into resistance measurement mode. But if it detects sudden appearance of voltage, it will actually switch into the voltage mode. A bit gimmicky, to be honest. Paul says, cheers from slightly snowy Seattle. It's been snowy here over the past week, which is very unusual for the Isle of Man. It did what usually happens. It kind of snowed. It was more like hail. It wasn't proper snow. And the whole island just skidded to a halt because it can't literally skidded to a halt because they're so unfamiliar with snow that they don't know that you drive differently in snow. What is my safe word, Arthur Touchedge Jackson? It's virgin for life. That's what my safe word is. Do you use an oscilloscope, says Monkey Man here? I've not seen one in the hundreds of videos I've watched. It does appear from time to time, but it's kind of rare. I do have oscilloscopes, but I rarely find applications to use them in without making a huge, long, extended video. What does a 470 microfarad 60 volt capacitor do across 4 ohm speakers plus and negative connections? It would attenuate audio. You might have that in a filter to remove the bass. I don't know, it wouldn't. It remove the treble frequencies or bypass them. I'm not sure you'd see it directly connected across a speaker usually. You do get passive filters, filter networks, crossover networks they call them, for speakers. Did you get your sledge out? No need, it wasn't enough for a sledge. It does sound like a high-pass filter, Voltar 2M stereo, but that would be in series and not across. It would be more like a low-pass in the sense it would just be shunting the high frequencies. Crossovers do usually use RC networks, but sometimes inductors as well. Happy Little Fox has fed his fox. I asked for an analog oscilloscope for Christmas. Kind of odd. Everything's digital these days. Did you get one? Not seen snow here for years. See with the fat, it is kind of odd. Temperature inside the domicile, I have to record it in my spreadsheet so I can graph it over time, Monkey Man here. It is 8 degrees Celsius here at the moment. Ralph, can use a casket as a sledge? I'm not sure. I mean, it'd be handy if he crashed in it. You could just close the lid, really, I suppose. Yeah, big cap, cameratim.com. It's an unusual thing, unless there was a pre-filter and it was just a final stage of removing treble. I wouldn't normally expect to see a capacitor across a speaker. It'd be an interesting resonance experiment, though. A tank circuit. Old people tend to have analog scopes. They do, Rifleman. In many ways, the old analog cathode ray oscilloscope was a lot easier to use than the digital ones. The digital ones have so many features that every time I go to use one of mine, it takes me ages to get the thing fine-tuned in because it's not just a few knobs. It's like hunting through menus for the correct parameter. 8 degrees Celsius equals 46 degrees Fahrenheit for Americans. Monkey Man here. Quite chilly, but that's okay. Why'd you keep your house so cold, Clive? Christopher Phillips. I just prefer the cold. I don't like a hot house at all. Soft Cell Live blew my expensive speakers, Brian Johnson says. Ah. I could turn on a heater right now, but it would make noise in the background. How are you heating this winter? It's all electric now. The oil tanks run out of oil and have no real desire to fill it up again for that old, inefficient oil burner system, so electric is much more convenient. It's not Slarty Bart Fast. It's not because I'm a tight sod. It's because I don't like the only time I put heating on is just to make sure pipes don't freeze. I don't like hot. I prefer cold environment. Yeah, I do melt at June's and Kevin's. It was insufferable, Peter Stevens. It was so hot. Greetings, Scruff Dog. Is Furbear here? I haven't seen Furbear in a while. That's a bit worrying. I know he said that when he's at the hospital getting his treatment, he doesn't play the stream because it would be quite rude to do it in front of others. Could you use headphones? What's the word in the man for the next week? Naismith. cold, maybe a little bit of snow, probably rain. It's the middle of the Irish Sea, huge stormy winds, just probably similar to everywhere else at the moment. Have you not got an open fireplace? I've not, Pete Webb. There is a fireplace with an electric heater in front of it that could I could put a fire in that, but it's not efficient. I'd rather have a solid fuel stove. Although they put out more soot than people let on. Right at the moment, I'm very snug, thank you. I have my Canadian overalls on, so no shortage of warmth. Far hill, what's a digital scope? Just one that processes analog to digital converter and is more feature packed. It's got the LCD screen. Just basically everything's digital these days. Houses with women in them tend to be very warm. They are, Rifleman. I wonder if Kevin lived on his own, because Kevin's a lineman. I don't think he'd have the temperature up so high, but I don't know. I've just worked outdoors for a long time, so I just prefer the cold. I found it difficult to get back out into the cold again if you were in somewhere warm. How's the finger? I could give the middle finger here. It's still cracked. It's one of those things, the skin is cracked and knuckle as happens at this time of year, as is happening there. And it just basically, because I'm continually gripping things and working, it just basically never really heals. And then suddenly it will be fine. I can't find those simple cheap audio crossovers anymore. They will be on eBay for the audio files, but not cheap. Thank you, Hannah Lynn. Is it woofler time? Woofle time happens half past the hour. Look at the clock up there and wait for it to reach the 30-minute mark. CameraTim.com, don't like the noise all over the readout digital scopes. They do show noise quite a bit, but it's not usually too bad. Most Class D amps will run at 18-volt drill battery. Indeed, Fold R2M stereo. They're quite, 18 volts would suit them because they tend to be rated for about 15 to 24 volts, so that's about right. Favorite or memorable YouTube video this week? Oh yeah, there was a guy showing an experiment. He made a circuit board for a self-soldering circuit board where one of the middle layers just had a track weaving backwards and forwards, and then he applied high current to that, so the circuit board itself heated up and reflowed the solder. That was quite interesting. And the first circuit board he built was the control system for reflowing other circuit boards. Unusual. What are amp classes, Class C, D, etc.? I'm not an expert in that, Bonnie. It's all to do with the way the transistors drive the speakers. You get that some are super efficient and some are not efficient. The most efficient is the Class D. Other ones are always operating a sort of really inefficient mode, and they're the ones that are the audiophiles love them because they're special and they just eat power all the time. One of my co-workers in the past was an audiophile, a real audio enthusiast, but real geek in audio. And his amplifier, he just never turned it off, and it was just burning heat all the time. Thank you, Dylan Davis. What is your eyeglass prescription? Love your vids. I don't really know, but it's quite high. It seems to vary depending on which optician you go to. Sean Cole, love the feeling of getting into a steam-heated workshop and a vending machine coffee, then I love the chill of the cold air when I first go outside, tea break is over. Indeed. One of my jobs at the steelworks as the apprentice was to load the stove up. There was a little round solid fuel stove with the chimney going through the top of our workshop, and my job when I get in was to load it up with the coke and the kindling and light it. I wasn't very good at it. It kept going out, so they quickly decided to just not let me do it. But outside, because it was a steelworks and coke was used in the furnaces, occasionally just a truck would drive by and just dump an absolute massive mound of like fuel coke outside our back door. Mouse says the self-soldiering PCV is good, but I'll have to be convinced the method for anything other than novelty is novelty, or supporting the total novice. Yeah, which needs a more reliable method. I think it was more as a novelty. Is an isolated transformer a valid way to protect your scope? Yes, it is. There shouldn't be any extra noise because the isolation, it means that your scope is not grounded as such. Any noise is going to come from your circuit. So a proper audiophile, not an audiophile. Yes, Chipmunk, not an audiophile that buys gold-plated fuses and gets their house completely wired with audiophile grade wiring components and distribution board. Because, well, someone has to take their money, I guess. They do keep the room warm. Class D is not digital. I would class it as digital, Luke Fitzharris. The processing of the audio is done digitally, but then filtered, so it's kind of an analog output. And with really cheap ones, you get a lot of the noise coming out at high frequency. I have Class D digital amplifier down here somewhere. Hold on, I'll grab one. A Class D digital amplifier with the filtering stages in the output, just to convert it, just to try and remove the noise. Very cheap and functional. The D does not stand for digital in Class D, but it seems fitting that, its digital amplifier is digital, but as a Class D Cambridge mark. It's the most efficient amplifier. It's almost 100% efficient, really. Now, if you built a Class D amplifier with a 555 timer, Mr. Margee, there'd also been a comparator involved. The 555 would have been used to generate the ramp waveform for the audio. Thank you, Harry McNally. Ambulance Clive. What? Class D is the one with the pulse width modulated output at Kalar. It's quite a simple, if you look at the concept of it, but then by the time they've implemented it, that's why they've dedicated chips for it. Is there cheap isolation transformer people know of? Peter Stevens, there's ways you can do it with two standard transformers back to back with the low voltage the secondaries connected together, but it's not really recommended. What if you like the noise, John Possum? It's ultrasonic. It's just wasted energy in your speakers. Class A all the way, Jonathan Hughes, spoken like an audiophile. Sadly, a 555 is about the same as a TDA Class D chip. Same dollars, yeah. James Randall, I think a lot of my amps were Class C. I can honestly tell, I've never really been into the amplifiers too much. I used to have some old MOSFET cinema amplifiers, which were fine. Why no 320 kilobits as audio modules? No, sure. Oh, Jeremy L. Clive, I know this isn't your area of expertise, but do you know any homemade remedies for a toothache? I've been suffering through a pretty gnarly one lately. There's various oils you can put in it, including clove oil that will supposedly help, but I've never really found them that much help. There are even audiophiles who believe that speaker cables should be tuned for a particular genre of music. Yes, indeed, Patrick. It's a business, a very big and lucrative business. Yeah, going to the dentist, Dennis, is actually good advice there, really. It all depends on whether you can appoint them quickly or... Clove oil works once, yes, cameratim.com. A generic painkiller like aspirin will help if you're not allergic to it. It is heading for woofle time. It's not quite woofle time yet, but it's almost there. Crystal meth helps. I'm not sure I'd recommend that, Brendan. Not just tuned audio cables, James. actually directional audio cables. You have them in the right direction, and there's little arrows on them telling you which direction to go with the flow of the grains. Completely not understanding the concept of AC current to speakers, because it is AC that goes out to the speakers. It's a very odd and excruciating industry. It's looking at some of the things they list are just embarrassing. You think MD buying that is clearly clueless and has too much money. Morphine and dentist, indeed. I'm loading up the woofler with juice. Are you ready for a woofle? Let's get the woofle zapper on. It's on. Woofling. Woofle. I made a short showing the woofle, just woofling. Weird comments in that, like someone saying, but what's it actually for? Woofles, that's what it's for. That's dangerous. Yes, yes it is. Oh, the TP Link. Oh, Bacon Zombie. That was embarrassing. The router, the high profile audiophile grade router, or was it for gaming? It was for, it was the same industry, and they'd stuck hologram stickers inside a router, or router, as you might say, in America. And they'd stuck a little bit of crystal on one of the chips because that was going to absorb all the impurities and make it super fast. And it was basically a standard router with a price multiplied by 10 or something like that, and sealed up with a label saying, do not open. Lovely. If you've got a super sensitive tooth, another thing that will help is get the desensitizing toothpaste. Just put some of your finger and rub it firmly into the area of the gum around it. That kind of desensitizes it. You risk setting your beard on fire. It looks very inflammable. Julian Stafford, the beard is probably, well, I've tested that. It is flammable. Audiophile Network switch was hilarious. It is unfortunately hilarious, but some people have bought that. I hope they didn't watch the review. This is a good way to trim your beard with high voltage electricity. It's not gone on fire though, has it yet? Not yet. I'll make more of an effort. Oh, it's on fire now. Smells terrible. Smells like when an insect has gone into the zapper. Let me see. No, I'm not sighing, by the way. Someone was asking if I sigh because, like, I'm pissed off making streams. It's not that. It's just me thinking of things or just going, what's next? An ionizer creates static electricity. Believe what would do the opposite. My hand ground coffee ground, my chili dryers creates a static coffee mess. Enlighten me, please. Well, it turns out, where is it? Where is it? Where have I put it? I've got something, and I'm not sure the logic behind it. It looks like a clone, and well, it's one of the weird thing. You do get static dissipators that actually remove that they equalize the static in the air, but I'm not sure how it works. I don't know if they sense it. I tried buying one, and the person who I bought it from in the UK failed to ship it out, and then claimed that it had been returned because it didn't have a customs label, which is bullshit. And they just ended up having to get my money back. They just clearly didn't want to send it. So I bought one from somebody else, but it's very strange. It's got a metal case for a start, which is odd. Don't forget gold-plated cables, especially mains. Absolutely. Router is a woodworking tool. It is Brian Cox. But there's this thing that in America they say that a internet router is called a router. And, well, the point is it finds a route for the data. And you think of Route 66. Is it Route 66? And that's route. So they do use the word route. I don't know if they use route for finding a route. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure where that came about. In Australia, a router is having sex. So they like that bit. Mm-hmm. Ah, yes. The desensitization of sodium or potassium. It is potassium nitrate. Pure potassium nitrate. Pickle your teeth, Matt Hilcher. You can buy potassium nitrate on the internet, on eBay, but it's disguised as saltpeter because it's used by the Polish to preserve food and other cultures. And then they eat it. Hmm. But I shall go and see if I can find that static elimination device. Where have I put it? What have I done with that? It must be here somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's shiny. I'll have to change the plug before I can try it out because it's got a European plug on it. But this came as a reconditioned by the seller. It's a big shiny box, the ion blower. Reconditioned. It's supposed to have a filter in the back here. Reconditioned didn't actually involve wiping the dust off the back of that. And what I can see inside this is I can see a fan and I can see just a single spike. Looks like the tip of a TIG welding electrode. It might well be a TIG welding electrode, but used as the ion source. But given that there's so much metalwork in the vicinity, what's it actually doing then? Because any ions that were added with respect to ground would just get attracted straight to the case. I don't know. I haven't even found that model online or data on it. You work at the moment, Brad's Kadar Garage. It depends what you call work, really. I've got work coming up. Best audiophile I saw was a $485 wooden volume knob. The best one I saw was a device that you place on top of a CD player and it absorbs all the impurities in the data. And it's like, oh, really? And also you get the earth resonant panels that resonate and bring your whole room into harmony with the earth and improve the audio. These people would not detect the difference between and blind tests. You look at the audio magazines and they're saying, we definitely felt this raised the sound platform. They must have a list of shite to write and that's what they write in it. It's an industry. What about tomatoes? Tomatoes? Tomato. What I use for speakers is heavy flex. Really heavy flex, depending on the power requirement. Chipmunk says, I work in South Sea on Monday. I'm planning on lunch at Wimpy. I've not seen a Wimpy in ages, or a Wendy's. I believe there's a Wendy's in the UK. Ah. Work is for chimps. No, Mr. Eggcake. Work is actually, do you know the way you should look and work? You should look at it as a recreational pursuit. That's how you should look and work. It should be enjoyable. If you're not enjoying your work, then you shouldn't really be holding on to that job. Unless there's no choice. I read it first, so for my speakers I use whichever bit of spare cable is the right length. Indeed. $89,000 for a pair of speakers seems excessive. Not to the seller, Chris Kerr. It is like Scotch whiskies as well. It's like lots of industries like that, or perfume. The people that basically judge the quality of the perfume by its cost and not by how it smells. Not that I'm an expert in perfume. It's how the industry works. The work is satisfying. The people are a pain, Norm Swan. Well, Norm Swan, you know what they say? Don't work with people you don't like. Diamond styluses, Raven Looney, they've always been around though. Just give up your job dead easy, Clive. I always want to keep work, James Beanie. YouTube is not a predictable career. There's no security with it. The chipmunk Ralph loves TCP. He puts it in his bath and everything for that whiskey-ish themed smell. To me, TCP smells like burnt phenolic circuit board, that resin bonded paper. It's a horrible smell. It just smells like bad electronics. I did test Ralph with whiskey. Hold on. This was a while ago. Still Spirit's top shelf whiskey flavouring. This is smoky whiskey. They do a whole range of flavours, and they're very good. I mean, they really are so good that when you add it to a base spirit like vodka or rum, white rum, it converts it into a whiskey. No, not much point because the cost of vodka and rum is pretty much the same as whiskey here. But I tried it on Ralph, and he said it was okay, but it was very young. No, it's completely fake. He was very miffed when I told him it was fake. But I do have great suspicion that a lot of the whiskey being sold by big, huge companies, I mean, Diageo comes to mind as being one of the bigger manufacturers. It wouldn't surprise me if there's some real whiskey in their whiskey, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was well-engineered flavouring. But they're not exactly going to talk about that, are they? But what's the difference between that and blue curacao or creme de banane? There is no banana in creme de banane. It's a yellow food colouring and it's banana flavouring. Blue curacao is blue food colouring and orange flavouring. It's all fake. It's all just flavoured drinks. Lawsuit incoming, 45 RPM. Absolutely. There's no way that these companies can bang out whiskey so cheap without it being themed, enhanced. There is a reason they don't publish the ingredients. Fake booze. I like supermarket whiskey. It's fine, but I know that you don't get proper whiskey for 12 or 14 pounds a bottle. It may well say 5-year whiskey, but that could be like the olive oil spreads where it's not, it's margarine with a little dribble of olive oil added to the whole batch. And they can then say it includes olive oil. At which point Crotty Robot mentions olive oil. Italy exports more Italian extra virgin Italian olive oil than it produces. Yes. Monkey Man here, occasionally the audio pop does happen. We have network issues. But when you actually taste something like this, an engineered flavour that is properly engineered, it's impressive. That would fool me completely 100%. I think this is sold for the moonshiners, the people who make their homebrew neutral spirit from sugar and then just enhance it with the flavourings to turn it into whiskey. Mike's 00 Haggis time. Now, Haggis Pecora is something I've come across recently. It looks quite good. Greetings back to Sherwood Forest, Spider Driver Lee. I use a mains smoothing power strip and definitely reduces the mains hum and gives better sound at higher volumes. Chris Lewis. Definite filters will definitely remove noise from audio supplies. Please reverse engineer that flavour. That would be a completely different science. Would have to be done by a professional flavour engineer. How's the fibre been? The fibre has been fine. But not sure about that clicking and popping. Only seems to happen in Isle of Man, but not in Glasgow. You can buy moonshine now. Yes, Frank, you can buy drinks called moonshine that, let's face it, ultimately, the vodka you buy at the shops is moonshine, but moonshine actually really refers to something that is made at night covertly behind the scenes. It's like Homer's, the Moonlighters. Live check. The live check has been done, Jack Attack. Clive does not watch Dank Pods. I've seen a snippet of Dank Pods, but I'm not really sure what it is. Is that the Australian guy? I'm not really sure. Moonshine with a tax label, that's it, Hagen P. I did notice there's a pub in Douglas offering whiskey, rum and moonshine, but it's just a brand, moonshine. They've just slapped it on because it's trendy. The only real moonshine that's worth drinking is actual moonshine, just for the sheer naughtiness of it all. Break the law, children. It's the correct thing to do. But not kill people, obviously. Well, maybe just one or two of the real scummy ones, yes. Ian Cooper says, I'll sell you some. Ah, it's when you sell it, Ian Cooper, that's the problem. Or if that's are you talking moonshine, you're talking audiophile equipment. Moonshine is delicious. It's a neutral spirit. Not the stuff I tried making. It was just vile. Zane the Magic Puffer Drag. I did not apply finesse to it. It makes me realise that the reason Diageo has professional distillers, those people probably started distilling at home. Because imagine being able to go to an interview and actually speak knowledgeably about distilling. You're more likely to get the job. Or go blind. Andrew Edis, congratulations on HMRC and the other tax collection agencies for spreading that rumour. Yes, you can go blind with moonshine if you brew a lot of a big batch with a lot of cellulose matter in it, a lot of plant matter in it, like stems and leaves and stuff like that, and pips. And then you take the first distillate, the first little tiny bit that comes out. If you want to see more about this, look at Whiskey Tribe, Ralph's arch nemesis. They talked about methanol. And look in the description of the video to see how much whiskey you'd have to make and drink to actually get methanol poisoning. A lot of it is scaremongering. If you get caught without a license, you'll go to jail. It's along the same lines. Lots of scaremongering. If you don't do what we tell you to do and give us all your money, you will burn in hell. But only once you're dead. That's the same category. It's all bluster and scaremongering because that's how people run countries, apparently. That was a rant. Ethanol is the antidote to methanol. That is true, lass. Whiskey Tribe are great. Your brother makes videos. He does. Fnautical Ralphie makes whiskey videos too. Whiskey Tribe are very characterful. They're quite funny videos. They're doing it like, oh, should have. Everything needs a freaking license. Well, everything, yes, indeed, Palmet. And apparently, people own all the land everywhere, which is a bit strange. And if you want to build houses on it, you have to. Yeah, it's all made up. Money's fake as well. Don't use turbo yeast though, Clive. It gives the nasty flavours. Ian Cooper, I did. It did. That's probably where it went wrong. If you do it slower, if I did anything sensitive, yeah, I did it for scientific curiosity more than anything else. I still buy my liquor. It's easier. But there is a certain pleasure to being naughty. We did a nice experiment at college, involved variable inductors and switchable cap banks. Was that resonance and seeing the ammeter waver up and down, Chipmunk? We made whiskey at high school, mid-70s. 2-minute-old whiskey tastes rank. It does breathe Scotland. It's rank. Did you get your experimental heater going? Chris Rogers. Oh no, the oil. No, I should have actually. It would have been useful given the recent cold snap. My opposing magnets as springs work to my 3D printed project. I've seen that. You use Lockwatcher, the magnets as the springs. It's quite good. Money just like paper or something, Mr. Eggcake. It is. It's just a voucher. Just realised you can buy 99% methanol. Methanol? Yeah, don't buy the methanol has its uses as a chemical, but don't drink methanol. Ethanol without the M is the one that is drunk, but you'll often find that the scientific ethanol is either denatured, methylated spirits, for instance, or you have to pay duty on it because the government wants its duty, it wants its cut. We didn't get enough money from your tax, we need to charge you for having fun at the weekend as well. Can we have a Jägermunion for Rob Maudsley, who set the world record for spending 16 out of 400 days in solitary and counting? What? Rob Maudsley. I'm just going to check this up. Rob Maudsley. I'm getting Rob Audsley. Let's try with an M. Oh, English serial killer, apparently. Let's not give him a Jägermunion. No, he's not getting one. He doesn't deserve one. A girl in my class got in trouble for making toffee. I just jumped. Yes. Ethanol is for cleaning hands but needs to be tested for suitability. Indeed, Voltar 2M Stir. Ethanol is what you can make if you refine it, not just moonshine as such for drinking. If you refine it in the event of a pandemic, you can make your own sterilizer for spraying on surfaces and hands and stuff like that. Because that is ultimately, I think it's 70% is the optimum level for killing COVID. The mechanic Alan Howitt is the same TV license issue as Clive, Steve Perry says. Methanol can be absorbed by the skin into blood, hair's chalk. Indeed it can. And breathing heavy methanol vapors is harmful. Isn't hand sanitizer isopropanol, not ethanol? It can be isopropanol or ethanol, Craig Matthews. But it tends to be isopropanol because they don't really want to put out jars of ethanol. But a lot of ethanol is actually, a lot of hand sanitizer is ethanol and people drink it from time to time. Not recommended. We should do a Jaeger for Scots independence. Is anything even happening with that these days? During the pandemic, lots of brews switched to making sanitizer. The Chipmunk Finodre gin distillery nearby put out, was it Finitizer? It was very, very expensive sanitizer. They fundamentally, 100 million tons of isopropanol manufactured per year worldwide. CTJ, they still ran out at the beginning of the pandemic and people were price gouging, but thankfully it's back to normal. Isopropyl is horrible in the skin. It makes your hand go very white. It's a degreaser. Not great. IPA, India Pale Ale, indeed. Does Isle of Man have a distillery? It has a few distilleries, I believe. It's got the Manx Spirit Distillery, which they basically redistilled whiskey into, and brandy and other things into clear spirits. Just that I did in a video. They have Finodry, which basically buys in bulk ethanol in IBCs and then redistills it with their botanicals. And we have now Bifrost. Is that the Manx? That is the Manx distillery. There's another one. There's another distillery. Not sure what it is though. They also have breweries. We're sorted for alcohol. IPA keeps your fursuit from smelling at conventions, Raven Looney. Do you dry clean them in any way? Duty is payable on ethanol, any grade. Yes, it is, Farley Hill. Because it's the one drinkable thing that people drink to enjoy, so let's tax it. Oh, it's so you don't drink too much. We care for you. No, it's a tax drug. That's a rant. Why do ballet dancers make great chemists? Because they have great acetone. Do they really? Do they really? just spray to kill sea bacteria. What I was looking at recently, you know those little water atomizers that you get? I made a video about one recently, the face moisturizing selfie light. It's a good video. You'll see it in due course. The patrons have seen it already. But it's the little atomizers. They put out a tiny quantity, but it's got an infrared sensor. When you put your hand above the unit, it just mists it with isopropanol or ethanol, and then you can rub your hands together. But the amount going on to it, you think it'd be useless, but then that hasn't stopped them selling things like that. Sweat bacteria. Ah. I lost audio briefly, says Paul T. Not sure what caused that. Where'd you get those USB festoon lights from? Have you got a link, Ian Cooper? Let me just grab a link right now. By going to eBay and going to my purchase history. Purchase history, what have I bought? Purchase history. Things what I have bought. Workwear. There's a surprise. Laser mount, turquoise laser, cyan laser, multiple lamp holder, timer, mini power banks, silicon bottle caps for experiments, photo paper, glossy photo paper, ionizer unit, returns not accepted. Oh no, I won't be able to return it. More overalls. Still not found it yet. One moment. When to buy these things? Glitter lamp that has been decapitated. Oh, battery charger for power tool batteries with spare non-compliant batteries. Pink LED light bulb. The carbon dioxide detector. Yeah, let's take a look at that. I'm still trying to find this. Shady lamp adapters that were indeed absolutely just non-compliant with electrical standards in many ways. I'm still trying to find this. Just give me a second here. I'm getting closer though. I buy quite a lot of stuff. So this was the USB powered, hold on, here it is. Let me give you the listing number. For the USB powered string of lights, it says they're S14. Not sure that's the lamp style. 24 foot, 10 bulbs. That is the USB version. Okay, here's the link. To those lights that I bought. Ah. The health system spends a lot. If the money, actually tax money, went to the health system, yes. If it went to that, alcohol, tobacco, cannabis, all very heavy taxes. Anything addictive. But they really dropped the ball in the vaping, didn't they? Ah, right. Let's catch up here. Right, I'm just trying to see what the chat is quite fast. Cannabis isn't addictive. I kind of disagree with that, Brendan, because a lot of people seem to become dependent on it. I've worked with potheads who just smoked it continually and said, oh, I could give up at the drop of a hat, but they don't. Chinese will give you whatever you pay for. They will send anything. Now Red was talking about that in an interview not that long ago, how they'll literally send you anything. Have I not sworn tonight? That's all right. Can you get a high-vis kilt? I don't have a high-vis kilt, Tony Peters, but you can get high-vis kilts. I was hearing the powers that be are looking at disposable vapes, partly because of the littering issue and underage use. They are breathed Scotland. They're trying to ban them in Scotland, I think. I wonder if that's due to the tobacco industry or the tobacco industry doesn't control that industry anymore. Most of the vapes come from China. But the answer to that is, hold on. The answer to that is to get round that is the pod-based systems where you pop a pod in. Steve, we do need the free batteries from them. What's the point of going for a walk if you can't find free lithium cells on the street? Having said that, I think I've found a grand total of one in the Isle of Man. Ye communion. To free lithium cells just lying in the street for our collection. It's like basically harvest the lithium cells while you can. They even made fake baby milk powder. Yes, DCL. And that kind of resulted in executions, though, didn't it? They added to the baby milk formula. They added melanine, to trick the testing equipment, and it killed the babies. Lovely. Not physiologically, not physically, James speaking, probably psychologically addictive. Melamine, yes. Weird. Do any lithium cells fit a 3 AAA cartridge? Not so. It depends on the holder, because most of the vape ones are 500 milliamp, roughly. I think I should go get some cheese, says Monkey Man here. That's a good call. I take a doggy bag with me to bag them up. That's reasonable enough. James Ranoff, we have very few free lithium cells in the streets here. It's a good thing. It is in a way, yes. What's this about salt batteries, Benavision? Just be careful about battery technologies. Sodium batteries, yes, they look interesting, but let's wait until they're actually there and we can actually see the real thing and not just all the hype that surrounds them. There are a lot of YouTube channels which basically jump in the current bandwagon, like earth batteries and salt batteries, and they hype them up above the reality of what they are at the moment. But they're getting there. What about use of those pressure switches and vapes? They're very complex, Colin Crowley. They contain a little 6-pin chip, well, a 5-pin chip, and a capacitor next to it for stability. They contain the little pressure diaphragm switch, but really they're so specialist. They're very capable, but they're so specialist that I can't really think of any obvious use for them, a suction-operated switch. Particularly one that times out. Even with the button on the vapes that you click the button to, it's got a timer on it and it'll cut out after a time. So it's kind of tricky. Do you know there's about 4 dead pixel in the LED clock? There's 1 dead pixel. The ones at the bottom are blocked by little rubber feet here. The only dead pixel that I know of at the moment is this one up here, and it is pressure sensitive. You press against it, it works. It may just be a solder problem. Manny Jazzcats, Godspeed. What? Indeed. But anyway, I think it's time to do an experiment. Don't see lithium batteries, but always see plenty of empty CO2 canisters. Cedar stuff, that's not CO2. That's the nitrous oxide dairy creamer frother, the stuff that whips up the cream. But kids use it to sniff so they can get oxygen deprivation. Let me show you a gadget you can buy from eBay for that. I wondered what this was, so I bought one. It turns out it's for consuming drugs, effectively. You get your capsule and you put it in. It's got a spike in the end here. So it's got a sharp spike. You've got the screw-on base. You put your cylinder in. You put a balloon over the end here, and then you inflate the balloon with the gas that was in the cartridge, and then you snort from the balloon, and it causes asphyxiation, and that's like really a high trip and all that. I know it doesn't sound very good. They call those crackers, do they? Is it because you crack open your cylinder? Why would anyone want to deprive themselves of O2, Paul T? Same reason kids sniffing glue. It's just because it makes you feel different, and wow, it's really cool. No, it's not. Glue sniffing, and like that guy I saw in Glasgow, just sitting on the pavement, in full view, the cops watch him snorting gas out a butane cylinder. It's like, that's not what you're supposed to do those. You're supposed to do woofles with them. Kills brain cells as good as alcohol. Talking about alcohol, I should grab some, Zap Sparky. Nitrous oxide is an anesthetic, it's laughing gas. Well, they can't. PPE kilts are a thing. They are, Steve Perry, but I wouldn't actually wear the work kilt. You do get work kilts, but not great for working up ladders or in gantries where people can see your genitalia. Australia Aborigines sniff gasoline. That also seems ill-advised. Anyway, I shall put my whiskey flavouring through, get rid of my nitrous oxide inhaler thing, which I've not used. I've no intention of doing that. I shall go and get ethanol in the form of lager. In the Netherlands, they want to ban nitrogen cartridges, but will keep them for the catering business to make creams, so I don't expect much change, and they'll always find a way out of that. Clown Crowley, my neighbour put a dozen of the big 0.95 litre NO2 cylinders out after Christmas. Maybe it's just whipping a lot of cream. Not even going to try it. I can't get pressurised cylinders here. I'd want the laughing gas experience. I'd want to whip cream, actually, Chen North Air Guns. It sounds more useful. Butane gas, indeed. I vape too, did nitrous in my younger years, says Moped Banzai. Aha. Anyway, I shall go and I've got an experiment to show you. It's hilarious. During the Patreon stream on Thursday, I was showing this device here, which is a common eBay carbon dioxide meter. Let me turn it on. And it tells you the level of carbon dioxide in the air. And it also tells you humidity and temperature. It says 66% humidity. It says 8 degrees Celsius. That's fairly accurate, I think. I'll just put this here and go and get stuff. I'll go and get my liquor. N2 is not NO2. Uh-huh. Oh, Full Jet puts a firecracker in the butt of Barbie and then pretend to be surprised. Indeed, it wasn't actually a Barbie. That would have been expensive. It was a pound shop doll. So, right, tell you what, I'm going to have to get myself something strong. ESP32 inside that detector. I don't think so, but we'll open it up in a video. It's quite useful. It's got a nice display. It's not that expensive. It does have a gas stuff sensor in it. It's not completely fake. Some of them are actually just fake the reading outright. There's no sensor in them. They literally just fake readings just to make it appease the Karens. I used to fill my mouth with butane and blow fire. People putting lighters. Yeah, not a good idea. We're getting very close to having a tricorder. I'd hoped it had been here already, Franco Walker, the medical health monitoring device. Is the CO2 real reading, Clive? Reading real, Harsh Chalk. We'll see in a moment. How's it doing? It's settling down. It says quite high, 765. Right, tell you what. With you in a moment. Not sure the beer will be alcoholic enough, so I've got a tiny little quantity of tequila here. Tequila. It makes you happy, apparently. Let's try blowing into it. So this is with alcohol. That set it off. That's gone to 5,000. It's off the range. Well, I won't need the tequila then, will I? It turns out beer's good enough. Ooh. Tequila. I don't normally drink tequila. I got a bottle in the fridge for carbonation. Let's let this go down. I don't think it is going to go down now. I think that's the experiment screwed. Yeah, it's not going to be happy, is it? It's going to be like that for a while. We'll stick it up here and let it just, we'll let it do its thing up there. Mezcal? Which one? Hold on. It's Sierra tequila. Let it sleep it off. It is completely poisoned now with ethanol. Oh, it's still out the range. It's just ridiculous, right? Okay. Excuse for more tequila. That will be Jägermunions, not tequila unions, because the tequila is quite strong. But I'm going to carbonate it at some point. Do you have central heating or do you have a wood stove or something? Put your max. There is central heating if I got oil for it, but I've let it run empty deliberately. I've got electric heaters, it's fine, because that's all I need for the level of temperature that I want. Tequila is a mezcal. What? I don't know. It's just not a tequila sunrise. Tequila Charlie and say Walt. Say Woof from Oregon. Woof back to Charlie and Walt. Your size or expression of your relaxed state are they? Choir. I'm always relaxed. Did it have a worm in it? It did not have a worm in it, Mr. Ake. I've not seen worm in tequila bottles for a long time. The thing is coming back down again. I can see the digits change on it. Any visits from Jesus this week? Jesus has not been by, no. What's the closest to drunk you've been on your live stream? I've never really been super drunk, but it doesn't take much to have me ranting, which is why a lot of the streams had to get taken down. Because I said terrible things about government officials and things like that, and nuclear bombs. Do you ever do teardowns while drunk? Not drunk, Paul T. I've only ever been really drunk twice in my life. To the point I got the hangover. Once in Ireland and once in Edinburgh. You have been plastered on streams, Clive. I've been tiddly on streams. The carbonated wine just makes me just say random shit, but doesn't make me feel too bad afterwards. Don't sleep that well after it, but you know, it's not that bad. No, Ian Cooper, no more carbonated wine patron streams. Maybe. Don't know. It always makes me feel a bit rough. Not drunk, but rough. You were super drunk once, was I, Bonnie? When was that? Did I say things? Some will sample you saying woof. It will be used. Indeed, Fred. Woof. It's a code word. Doesn't really work in the UK because our derogatory slang for homosexuals is poof. And it's just a bit too close. Turn off to reset. I don't know. I think it's the actual contamination. The thing is, it's down to roughly the same level. Will we test it with carbon dioxide now? Because it is a carbon dioxide tester after all, isn't it? It is showing the carbon dioxide level. What do I have that would produce carbon dioxide? The soda stream. Because that... Hold on. No, I have to do it that way. That's pure carbon dioxide. Let's test it, shall we? Let's test the carbon dioxide by blowing it right into its port at the side. Oh, it did actually go off the scale this time. Oh, it's recovering quite quickly though. I'm not sure which part of that was the... Was it my breath that upset it again? Because it's certainly during the last stream, when I blew carbon dioxide into it. We'll let it stabilise. We'll try that again, because the last time, it didn't register the carbon dioxide at all. It might be my breath. Is it my breath? Possibly the breath. Not really sure. We'll try it again. Maybe it did actually detect carbon dioxide. Certainly I gave it quite a lot there. What does it measure? I'm not sure yet. I've not worked that out. It detects ethanol. It didn't detect butane. Did it detect butane? Can't remember. Yeah, maybe we should test that as well. Didn't we establish it was basically a Ralphie detector? It does detect Ralphie, Ian Cooper, by the ethanol on the breath. Ascari West, I am drinking Asahi Japanese beer brewed by Peroni. It is teasing me. Is that Brutus in the top shelf? It is Bluto. Brutus or Bluto? We did detect it was an alcohol detector. I think basically ethanol and isopropanol both set off. I think they did. Yes, they did. I think it's a VOC detector, volatile organic compound. I think they just used... I was hoping the thing was going to use a standard mesh sensor so you could swap in other sensors and then you can't recalibrate it, unfortunately. Let's try it with another squirt of carbon dioxide. We'll give it a shorter squirt this time because it should detect... I'll stay away from it so I don't contaminate with my breath. Nothing. Try it again. This is aiming directly into the side of it. Anything? What if I blow into it again? Oh, that set it off. It's my breath. Okay, so the carbon dioxide sensor doesn't react to carbon dioxide, but it reacts to my breath. Oh, that's useful to know. Let's try butane and isopropyl alcohol. Butane lighter gas. Nothing. Doesn't react to butane. Isopropanol. Sets it off. So it's an alcohol detector, really. I've taken a look inside. There was a number on the side of the sensor. I couldn't find it. The gas was, it was carbon dioxide, which is heavier than air, is it not? Also, it was firing directly into the side of it. But I can fire it into the back again. The hands are covered in isopropanol now. I'll have to let that wear off. I wonder if I detect ozone. I don't know. I think I'm going to get one from Mine Exploring, Jonathan Hughes. This one came from eBay, right? And there's a whole range of them. Some of them are completely fake. Isn't it a carbon monoxide detector? No, Pete Webb. I don't think so, because carbon monoxide detectors tend to use a chemical battery in them that's quite big. It does have a humidity sensor. It's currently displaying 61% humidity, but I don't think that's super accurate. And it's 12 degrees Celsius, but that's probably because I'm holding it. It went down until you breathe into it, and my hands still have the trace of alcohol. It's going to go off the scale when you breathe into it. Mm. Yes, we'll let it stabilize. I'll put it up there until it's stabilized, then we'll squirt it with carbon dioxide again. Not that I think it's going to have much effect. I've got a four gas sensor I'd love to get working, but the new sensors are too expensive. They are Breathe Scotland. It depends what type of sensors they're using, but you'd probably have to calibrate it if you put new sensors in. And the tricky bit is what you calibrate it with. I've got a load of ozone detectors here, and aside from the fact that you have to run it for about a day before they'll start reading accurately, apparently, the sensors are designed to run continually. Anyone know what BOC, the company, stands for? British Oxygen Corporation, is it not, Graham Shaw? Um, but the ozone detectors, it's how do you calibrate it? Because they all read slightly differently. Mostly they read zero, but I think they're just nulling themselves out. Is that acai brewed by Peroni in Warrington? Yes, Tom Houston. Well, it's brewed by Peroni. I'm not sure where, but I've always thought Peroni, is that not an Italian place? I'd guess that it's easier just to brew it locally. I mean, you see all these cans of different beers, to be honest. I can't tell the difference between them. They might as well all be coming out of the same brewery. Um, Contains barley, brewed and canned by Brassi Miso. Hold on. AsahiPeroni.com. Oh. I'm looking for what it actually says, who it actually is. Woking? Asahi House? Oh, goodness knows. It's very small black text on shiny backgrounds. Bonnie, I was looking at getting a soda stream but was put off with the price. Do you know if no name types are worth buying? Do they even sell them? They are overpriced, actually. The soda streams, grossly overpriced what they do. I didn't realise that Brewdog, which is a Scottish brewery brand now, is they have a place in Las Vegas now. Hmm. Try it with methanol too. I don't have methanol. I try to avoid methanol. You do mainly breathe out CO2. Also, the gas may be rising up, not directly into it. If you blow into it without alcohol in your breath, it doesn't do anything. It's only when you have alcohol in the breath it goes off the scale. Will it detect WD-40? That would involve spraying oil into it, which is not going to end well. That's how you contaminate sensors. Brewdog have a bit of a bad rep. Everybody's got a bad rep. I'm pretty sure that any successful company gets hated by somebody. It's people never go, oh wow, they're great. I'll go and provide a good review to the website. It's only when they're bumping their gums and they've had a bad night out that they go, oh, I had a terrible time. I'm going to write a terrible review. That's how review sites work. Ah. But have you ever been arrested? Well, detained by the police, arrested, yes, Mr. Eggcake. And exciting things usually, like the one time I was taken into temporary custody on the belief that I'd held a off license up at knife point because I was a big scary guy and therefore the exact person is going to do it. Not really. Brewdog's beer tastes gash, stinky mo. It's a brand. It tastes like generic stuff. There should be a brand called Scruff Dog Mr. Eggcake. But you can also make your own. If you were to make a lot of carbonated liquid, if you can get food grade CO2, like the brewer's CO2, and you get the pressure regulator, you know the thing with the two gauges on top, one that shows the pressure in the tank for quantifying the value more or less, and the other one that you can set the pressure in the regulator and it shows that. You set it and you basically get adapters for attaching it to a 2 litre drinks bottle, and then you basically pressurize it and you shake the bottle to get the carbon dioxide into it, and you end up with super duper carbonated water for buttons. Paid for reviews, yes indeed. Oh, it's something I can't remember what it is for a exchange cylinder now. It's quite expensive. It's not a good value way to buy your CO2. Look, love it. It's an expensive thing. It's fashionable. What did you do? Says Voltaire to him stereo. I did not go into the off license with a knife and hold them up. That's what I did do. I didn't do it. Uh, they got a description. It was someone with a green jacket. My jacket was kind of greenish. It was a work jacket. And, well, look, there's a big guy. Let's arrest him. Don't really care much for the police. Not had good experience with the police at all. Let's target the big guy. What PLA do you use, Clive? Branded or random from Amazon? Random from eBay, but sometimes from other suppliers too, Pugster Josh, and some of the shit from eBay is appalling. Don't buy cheap PLA from eBay. It is dumpster PLA. Greetings, Human Seagull. Oh, Human Seagull. What's the chance of me getting one of those circuit boards from the streetlight and that all got blown up in Douglas by the lightning strike? It'd be quite good to actually test one of those circuit boards and see what actually went wrong with them. They profiled you. It happens all the time, Voltaire 2M Stereo. I'll be heading to Glasgow soon, and I just know I'm going to get swabbed at the fucking airport in the Isle of Man. There, I swore, because it happens every time I go through it. Nobody else, just the big guy with the beard. Let's swab him because he looks like a criminal. Wankers. I swore again. Lights and strike now, they are. Human Seagull works with street lighting. Not really, Graham Shaw. Well, to a degree, yes, but no. General maintenance for council, I think it is. Not really sure. I should contact them. On the other hand, I should not get involved. Scroll down and see what's happening. I'm going to fart, or am I going to shart? It was a fart, it's fine. I do have some AM transmitter with blowing PCB burns from lightning strikes. Yeah, but the thing is, Pica Delphon, this is a brand new architectural street lighting system with networked communication and the ability to express moods with colour. And it got struck by lightning and the whole fucking lot's died. And it's like, and they can't get circuit boards till March or something like that. And it's like, it's another insult. It's one of many insults in a ridiculous farce of money shoveling that went into the refurbishment of a seafront. Did you read all the shark stories? I did. Some of them were hilarious. I'm not sure they were true. It keeps making me think of the Scatman, Scatman John. If you guys know that song about it's actually everybody stutters once in a while. It's the do 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 song. Except you could change the lyrics. Everybody sharts one way or another, so check out my message to you. Because a shart is a fart with a little bit of poo, and everybody does it, so you will too. See, it could be written, it could be Shartman. R.I.P. Scatman. We drank a toast to him, garbled user, on the Thursday Patreon stream. Scatman John, indeed. Everybody Sharts. It probably was a song. Scatman John was a proper jazz musician. He was Ian Cooper. He had an absolutely smash hit here with Scatman John, the that song, the Scatman. Was it? I can't remember I just know him, Scatman John. Big. Dip, dippity dip. He died not all that long. He died of cancer, unfortunately. Stroke a line. That wasn't so great. Mr. Ekic says, last time I shat myself was when I was 12 at an RAF museum. Well, that just ruined your museum visit. Scat is the study of poo, but it's also a style of singing in jazz, Jamal Tyrone. That's unfortunate. Lung cancer. Did he sing in pubs? Because there seems to be a history of people who sang in absolutely smoke-filled pubs getting lung cancer. Big Goth Kitty's here. Greetings, Big Goth Kitty. Woofle. It is time for a woofle. This woofle is dedicated to Scatman John. This is Scatman's woofle. Has Liz forgotten it's woofle day today? Last live stream there were no polls. We could have polls. Woofle. Skibbity bip dip dibbity boop. Da 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 da. Woofle. For Scatman John. Nothing to do with poo. Our postman shat himself and asked to use my toilet to clean up. Did he make a mess, Colin Crowley? It's very clear it happens. There seems to be a pattern. It seems to be people who travel with work, do physical heavy work, and also eat random junk food out of like the food wagons. That's the trend I'm seeing here. Yes, I've told you about this in the past. I had one major incident in the past when I was really, really, really ill. But that's another thing. Whereas office workers might be able to phone in sick, when you work in a trade, it's actually less easy. You often have to go in and work anyway when you're ill, which isn't a great situation, is it? Risk of copyright strike after that rendition, absolutely. Now I've got to write an Everton Shart's children book. I just don't want to see the illustration for that, James Randolph. Why are we so scatological tonight? Because of a question, Brian Gregory, that we featured Sharts in a poll question on the main channel, and it got a surprise number of responses. Only one person that said, "This is the final straw. I'm unsubscribing." It's like, bye. You always get it. It doesn't matter what question you ask. That someone says, "I don't come here to see these polls." Well, you don't need to look at them. It's like when you release shorts, it's like, "Oh, I'm unsubscribing because you're doing shorts," and it's a name I've never ever seen. You can go through the comments, you can search the history of comments. There's a lot of comments. You can search for their name, it comes up nothing. They've never ever left a comment before. It's just a Karen impairment thing. You go in a video, any video, and you just leave a comment saying, "I don't like your video. I'm unsubscribing." Oh, he's going to be really emotional about that. And it's like, not really. Bye-bye then, says Mr. Megcake. Indeed to them, yes. Sharp poll now, please. We'll start a poll. Yes, which is cuter, puppies or bunnies? Fuck you, Clive, unsubscribe. That's the level of it. It's like, as I've said, you can make a video where you wade into a river and rescue puppies and kittens from drowning, and you get people saying, "Fuck you, you should have let them drown," because it's a little bit of empowerment. It's the internet. There, see, this is a more inclusive question. It's a simple yes, no. There's no division here. It certainly proved around. It did now, because it happens quite a lot. We're talking of, well, unsubscribing and things like that, but the it's a known thing. You'll notice a lot of YouTubers go on holiday at this time of year. They just take a break from releasing videos because January is the worst time to be releasing videos for revenue. But that doesn't bother me because I'm not doing it for the cash. So I'll be putting out the standard videos as normal. But I tell you what, the revenue has bombed. It's like, imagine going into work and doing the same work, but getting paid less than half your wage. That's YouTube. That's how it works. Oh, thank you, Garbage User. IBSD is not to be farted at. The irritable bowel syndrome, a lot of people had that. 15% of people are telling porkies here, and either that or they've led a very sheltered life. They are, Paul T. And you know you've done it straight away, you do. Could you live on your YouTube income? Yes, Sugarline, but I wouldn't like to rely on it as the only source of income because it's unpredictable. Literally, as happened with that safety video that got taken down and the warning that is still there on the page, all it takes is a malicious attack against you by people. It's less likely to happen now because they've got filters to prevent what they call brigading by Karens. But the other thing that can happen is that if the algorithm suddenly detects that it thinks you've made some dangerous videos, and it could be updated and it could scan previous videos. It might say, oh no, multiple violations and your channel could get deleted. That's just, you can be sacked by a computer, basically. So who would trust that as a form of employment? It's not a stable income. It's a useful income, but it's not stable. Thank you, Black. Much appreciated. So 18% have never ever shorted. Not even a little bit. That's bizarre. You must have perfect bottoms. It's immediately making me think of the what was that? The armadillo at the Scottish Exhibition Centre. I was working in one of the plant rooms next to our dimmer racks, and this young electrician was in there, and he farted. It just sounded so wet. It was like everybody turned and looked at him, and I said, I think you should go down to the toilet and check your pants. And he said, I think you're right and left. It shows the average age chat. It might be of full jet. They are young. They have a lot to learn. Maybe they just have a very relaxed job. It also reminds me of when Vince, the crew chief, said, oh, I'm going to have to go to the toilet before I blart. And we said, no, don't you mean shart? I said, no, it's definitely blart when you poo out, when you fart a little bit of poo. And I was like, no. And he said, well, look it up on the internet. I looked it up and it said blart, the act of farting out blood. And it was like, no, I hope he's not going to do that. It was funny. No, we didn't check them from no. But anyway, the subject should move on. We should do the other carbon dioxide test, and I'll try not to poison the meter with my alcoholic breath. I'll get the carbon dioxide. Now, carbon dioxide is heavier than air, so I'll put it here and I'll squirt it into it like this. Are you ready for this? Nothing. Nothing at all. That should be pure carbon dioxide going into that. Alcohol breath. So No, the carbon dioxide detector, rather unfortunately, doesn't detect carbon dioxide at all. Not even pure, undiluted carbon dioxide out of a cylinder. What a piece of shit, but worth exploring. The humidity and temperature are detected by a DTH11, is it? DH11, DTH11 sensor. Probably the cheapest they could get. No way of calibrating anything. Suck the device, darn you, Mr. Clive. What? Hmm. But yes. Have you ever had lutefisk? Lutefisk try building. It's not. Is it related to surströmming? What is lutefisk? It's not fermented fish, is it? Lutefisk is dried whitefish. I think someone sent me some of that a while ago. I don't know how long it lasts. It's way out of its date by now, probably. I found it. Best before 3/12, 2019. So probably not really the best thing to eat. It is turning into powder in the packet. Maybe I shouldn't be keeping this, but it was I should have eaten some at the time, just to see what it tastes like. Always cautious when people send weird food items, just in case it's incredibly toxic. Lutefisk is pretty much fish soap. Ah, saltfish is Jamaican. I'm pretty sure it'll be all countries will have brine. Any signs of rot? No obvious signs of rot, and it is vacuum packed-ish. I have tried surströmming. We put it up as a video, Mr. Chippy. I think it's in the main channel. If you search for surströmming, because the NBC tried it. It was horrific. Two days ago, March McFly arrived in the future. I believe he did, Brian Rutter. Lutefisk is fish that has been processed with sodium hydroxide. See, that would be quite a caustic thing. I thought it might have been more processed with potassium nitrate. Not really sure. It keeps forever, says Cambridge Mart. Oh, not sure. Put carbon dioxide, the detector, a closed container, then add carbon dioxide. I could do that as well. Are you feeling chilly tonight, Minky Moo 2? I'm not feeling chilly tonight, no. Caustic soda is exothermic, pal. I've broken things before by adding hot water to caustic soda, and it goes thermonuclear. Pretzel are processed with sodium hydroxide. I didn't realise it was used widely in food. I thought it was purely for unblocking sinks, making soap, and processing circuit boards old style. Swedish winters are harsh, they would be. Yes, Norm Swan, that's when they have to preserve their fish. Especially in the past, it's less critical now. License to drive cuttlefish, not fish, they're squid. Starfish, not fish, they're crustacean type things. Jellyfish, not fish, they're their own thing. Silverfish, not fish, they are little slaters, little bugs. Shellfish, not fish, seahorse equal fish. Oh, is seahorse fish? Will it detect a fart? I think it would detect a fart. I'm not really sure. I don't want to try right now because I've already done one. Cody's lab did a thing using sodium hydroxide as a conduit. You'd have to be careful about diluting. It's used to brown things like bagels. What would you do without your hobby? I'd use nanometer Paul T, but it's very useful. The sodium hydroxide is what creates the unique brown crust in pretzels. I wonder what's the science of that is, Rifleman. It's a strong oxidizer, I guess, maybe. Dunno. What would be your final meal request? Oh, I'm not sure. Fred. Noodles. Why change a habit of a lifetime? Chips, probably, actually. I'm not sure I'd really be in the mood to eat at that point in time. Bring me the government on a plate. That's what my last meal request would be. BAE Systems are looking for apprentice electrician in Glasgow and other parts of the world. Eddie Munster say. Not sure I'd want to work with BAE right enough. It strikes me as corporate and political. Have you got any other hobbies, Clive, apart from electronics? Not really. No. No, I don't have. I do have a food container. I could purge with CO2 and just leave it in it. Hold on. You're hellbent in getting this to actually detect carbon dioxide. I think we're on to plums here. I really don't. I think it is a volatile organic compound. I think it's basically the cheapest sense they could find. Let's put it in here. This has a hole in the top because it was used for a scientific experiment. So I can fill it with CO2. Which is heavier than air. So it's now completely full of CO2. And is showing nothing really different from normal. You'd think it would have reacted by now. But in reality, this thing is not a carbon dioxide detector at all. It's completely and utterly up to the standards of eBay. It's fake. Because that's pretty much 100% CO2 in there. Let me sniff it and give you an indication of that. Oh yeah, that makes your nose tingle, yes. So that is a fake. Let me blow into it now. Oh, it went off. No, guys, it doesn't matter how many experiments we do, it does not react to carbon dioxide. I've been blowing pure, unadulterated carbon dioxide into it. It is not a CO2 detector. It is detecting methanol in the breath. Ethanol in the breath. It's fake. Does it react to humidity, Sabertail? It does have a humidity sensor and a temperature sensor in it. I think if you farted in it, it would detect the fumes of your fart. Should the humidity in there also read 0%? It will take a while to respond. It also, when you close a container, it will have the same humidity in the room. It's not just going to disappear. Unless you use one of those little Royal dehumidity modules that I put into, or a humidity absorbing pack. I'm still mad about methylene chloride being banned from paint strip in the US. Signoro Ni, they banned it here as well. Suddenly paint stripper didn't work anymore because people asphyxiated themselves by putting themselves in a sealed room with paint stripper and then fuming themselves. At least they wouldn't have known they were dying. They just got a bit sleepy and then they'd have conked out. Maybe the soda stream is using something other than carbon dioxide. It is a carbonation in the liquid. Let me take the cylinder out of this soda stream. It says 60 litre carbon dioxide cylinder makes up to 60 litre. Oh, makes up to 60 litres. So not actually 60 litres compressed in here, but makes up to 60 litres of the liquid. How much soda stream carbon dioxide do you get for your money? 425 grams of carbon dioxide. I should put this safely back in here. Oh no, it's not going to do that. It has to be put up like that. You can't just drop it, and it's got a wee flap that goes down to stop people dropping the cylinder in with the full weight of it smashing into the back. The display is quite pretty, yes. It'd be nice to reprogram it completely. I don't know if it uses a standard system. Does it react to humidity? It does detect humidity. Google says better than 99.9% pure carbon dioxide, yes. Definitely not nitrous oxide. It doesn't carbonate drinks very well. There's only a few chemicals, that gases that will carbonate drink. Well, carbon dioxide is the only one that will actually carbonate it. You can also use nitrogen to create bubbles, but it's not the same effect. Otherwise, they'd be using that because there's more nitrogen there than carbon dioxide. It's super cheap. It's the same way with paint stripper. It's like maybe there's a department in Europe says, oh, so what chemical makes that work? Oh, it's this methylene chloride. Well, let's ban it then. Oh, what chemicals in your soda streams? Oh, that's carbon dioxide. Ban it. It's just like what they seem to do. Everybody's puffing these vapes. Let's ban nicotine. Oh, let's ban alcohol out of beer. Let's ban everything that makes it work. That's what Europe's like. That was a rant. Super rant. About 230 litres of carbon dioxide gas in the cylinder. Aha. You can make a nice gun with a CO2 cylinder and a mag valve. Twee thud. Oh, right, okay, firing. Oh, right. The US already tried banning alcohol. During the prohibition, Brianna Stander, there's that theory that the government actually released bottles of methanol to deliberately blind people to say, oh, don't drink any of the moonshine, it's banned. Yes. Remember that? I don't remember that. I wasn't there, but I remember the information about it. But you wonder how much of that is conspiracy theory. Put a balloon in the soda stream and see, yes. Who's the next toast to? Not sure yet. It seems to be an empowerment thing, banning things like saying religions, saying people can't eat pork and things like that. You're not allowed to do this, you must do this at this time of day. It's all about controlling people. But anyway, this is why we should ignore all rules, because, yes, have you wished the Chinese a Happy New Year? You know what? Worse than that, Arthur Tushed Jackson didn't realise it's New Year and ordered stuff, which is a cardinal sin for me. I try and let the Chinese have their holiday, their one main holiday of the year, without ordering stuff from them. Bonsoir, nuts and proud. Is asphyxiation a method of capital punishment? It should be. Pugster Josh. I think it may have been done, but not with carbon dioxide. It'd be a horrible way to do it. Really horrible way to do it. Just about any other gas, yes, but not carbon dioxide. Prohibition was a social experiment, indeed, Jonathan Hughes. It would have made it so much more special going to one of the secret pubs during that time. Like, gay bars used to be fun before it became legal. Zinc from Head and Shoulders, they have. Zinc pyrithions, Jack Attack. They've banned zinc pyrithion from Head and Shoulders, so they replaced it with something else. And the head has been itching ever since. Let's ban religion. Yes, Brad's Guitar Garage, let's ban religion. That's what I'd do. Fork in a toaster, Mr. Eggcake. Indeed, they're very dangerous, yes. Spanner in a toaster. Is there moonshine in Scotland or is it a USA thing? Every single region has its own name for it. Every single country in the world. What is the Scottish name for moonshine? There's probably a Gaelic name. What is the Scottish name for moonshine? It's in Scotland. It's called peat reek, apparently. Probably because of the smell of the peat. Peat reek means the smell of peat, which would be what they were burning under the still. But really, we just call it moonshine, wouldn't we, I suppose? Toast to Lee Perrin's sauce, but I've never tried Lee Perrin's sauce, so no. The speakeasy in the US now, that didn't work. GS1512, speakeasies? Sure. There's a pub called Speakeasy in Glasgow. I think it's a gay bar, actually. Sulfate-free shampoo, no need to thank me, Eddie Munster. It's all about keeping the beard in good condition. Nigel Lewis, I'm watching from hospital tonight. Been here 11 days, going stir crazy without a soda and procedure on my heart on Tuesday. I'm shitting a brick. Well, I wouldn't worry about it too much given the level of modern science. So don't stress yourself too much about it, but I hope it goes well. Pretty sure it'll go well. So don't let it prey on your mind. But yeah, that would be irritating. You can always bury yourself in YouTube. You already are, aren't you? You don't know what you're missing, Lee Perrin Worcester sauce. Maybe I should get a bottle. Nuts and proud. Bathtub gin is a thing, yes. Now, I tried making gin. Greetings, walking contradiction. Do you use Beard Oil, Clive, Chocolaine? Very rarely. I tried making gin by getting ordinary vodka or rum, white spirit, just not white spirit actually, but a generic distilled spirit from the supermarket, so duty paid, and put loads of. I basically got a Tesco fruit salad and just put the whole lot in the still, ran it through. It was disgusting. It basically tastes like boiled vegetables. It was revolting. That's not how you do it. It's only certain components you want out. So that's probably why they have a little basket above the liquid so that just the steams take the essential oils out. Oh, it just blipped. It just dropped the stream and then it came back again. Everything is about controlling the public and taxes as much as possible. It is more, Mr. Warwick. As time goes on, they find new and new ways to tax people. Nigel Lewis, I'm at the same age as you, Clive. Look after your heart. How do you know what state your heart's in is the question. It's always a surprise when it goes. Blood oxygen levels are good though. Slow gin is easy, the slow berries. I don't think there's much you can do wrong with that. But apparently throwing a fruit salad from Tesco into it is not the correct thing to do. And my co-workers on the job I was at the two at the time made a mockery of me. Waiting for my oxygen reading coming through. Oh, 98%, that's pretty good. 67 BPM. How do you fix a broken heart? Well, you don't break it in the first place, Joshua Lawson, by not getting involved in people. You need juniper berries. It's strangely enough, there's another two connection. We found there was a bush growing outside the accommodation that did turn out to be a juniper bush. Or you can just buy juniper oil and add one drip into vodka or white rum and it turns it into gin. I mean, didn't they use the whole point of gin in the first place? Juniper was to mask bad distillations, bad fermentations and distillations. Angelica. Is Angelica still used in gin? Don't know. Luke Lovett. I quite liked Angelica. I used to eat it out a little tub of Angelica for cakes. To have loved and lost is lucky, Norm Swan. I've never had love, so I don't know. Gin is entering my body right now, Stinky Mole. Sounds reasonable enough. Fred Smith. Jägerminion. Aha. To the illegal backstreet bars. I should have sourced some moonshine to do that toast. Ah. What is the Jägerminion capacity of a parts drawer? The parts drawer contains 4 communion shots of Jägerminion. There is one still left. And they are very small because they're communion and they don't like dishing out Jesus' blood to everybody in large quantities. All 4 of those will fill roughly 1 shot glass. It's a very small quantity of blood you get when you're at communion. And you only get a wee chunk of his flesh as well. It's very ungenerous. So why don't they just scale it up a bit? You know, a big, huge glass of wine and a cake. That would be nice. Maybe a crusty baguette with cheesy sprinkles on it. That'd be quite nice. That'd be worth going to communion for. What's this thing called love? Not sure, Nam Swan. I've never experienced it. It looks terrible, though. Franco Walker says, bye family, lost of love to all of you. Oh no, you've lost the love. Lots of love. Okay. It's almost an armful. Yes. Cheese and Vegemite scroll. See, that would be it, Brad's Guitar Garage. More people would attend communion. I was not allowed to attend communion by my father. He banned me from attending communion at the church for some reason. I was not the right type. I will not be going to church tomorrow. Yeah, I do love you all, obviously, Matt and Bally. Because you're in the same wavelength. Is Jesus halal? I don't think it is. They didn't, like kosher and all that. They didn't do that. Oh, I've just knocked the badge off. And the magnets have gone into orbit. Oh, and one of the magnets is broken into 2 pieces. That's all right. Still get any Rhodium B? There is Elliot Veers. I don't know where it is. I don't really want to find it. It's still in its packet somewhere. Rhodamine B. It's not Rhodium B, it's rhodamine. It's a dye. A terrible dye. A really awful dye. That dyes everything magenta pink with the slightest, even powder that you can't even see it there. If any of the powder, if you open the packet and the dust comes out and lands in things, if they get wet in the future, it will dye everything pink. Really lurid pink, including plastic. It was horrific. Any more news about your TV license? Yes, Lockwatcher, I don't have one because I don't need one, and someone took the liberty of letting them know I didn't need one, so I've not had any letters either, which is very sad because, you know, it's the only mail I get, apart from shite gadgets from China. So that's coming up in the 2-hour mark. At the street mark, the stream will we go to past and we'll end in a whiffle? Will we do that? That's us almost nudging back up to 3 hour streams again, though, isn't it? It's a terrible way to die. It was Chris Hartley. It was regrettable. It was in student accommodation at the time at work because they provided that accommodation. Um, and it was regrettable. Gay powder, John Possum, gay murder powder is what it is. It was awful. Do you get recognised in the street very often? No, because I live in the Isle of Man, Paul Byerly. I see people looking at me with a strange expression, and they often do that. Maybe I should stop touching myself in public. But they look at me and you can know they're thinking, is it or is it not? Keep in mind that not many people see me. Not many people view these live streams. How many of you at the moment are going to have to refresh to find out how many are viewing? Because it's not updated. I'm refreshing to see how many are viewing. It's an advert for, it's the same brain dead game advert where someone repeatedly loses by doing something dumb and, oh, I'm going to buy it and then show them how to do it. One of those games. Peeing in the font get you banned from communion? It would indeed. Well, I've screwed it now. It's not updating. 927 watching now, but not me because it's not appeared. Rhodamine 6G stains polythene for years. It stains kitchen sinks. I know that. No matter how much scrubbing, it didn't rub out. I got recognised as a supermarket last week, says Cambridge Mart. I'm more likely to get recognised in Glasgow. They're just looking at you and thinking, fuck, look at the size of that dude, big fucker him, Graham Shaw. That could be true because it does happen. People are... I am bigger than average. And look villainous. As demonstrated every time I go through Isle of Man Airport, not Glasgow Airport, or Edinburgh, should I say, Airport. They're fine. Just Isle of Man Airport have this psychological problem about people, big people with beards. Do you dress the same in public? I just dress the same all the time, Paul T, because quite frankly, I don't really have much choice in clothing because I don't need it. I'm not a fashionista. It's functional clothing, work clothing type stuff. Weaselbox, I'm a big old villainous man. The airport is on Bear Patrol, Monkey Man here. There was a time Glasgow folk used to be a lot shorter than average, Tom Houston. Probably malnourishment because they didn't get a lot of food. They were really exploitative place. Do you get mistaken for Prince Harry? Not very often. What about Camilla? Camilla. Whatever her name is. Queen Camilla. I get stopped in airports because of my very large Prince Albert piercing. I see, nuts and proud. That makes me think of that video. Have you ever seen the one where the cop is searching someone who says, what's this? And the guy just says, it's my penis. The guy looks so embarrassed. It's all been caught in film. But it is notable he's got a huge boner. Maybe he's liking being frisked by the cops. How tall are you? I'm 6'4", Stacey Rowson, which is, what's that? 6'4", yeah. 72 inches? No, it's not. It's, yeah, I've never really thought about it. 76 inches? Not sure. 6'4". Did that building ever get sold you were looking at? No, Poly 540. And the one next to it that links to it is also up for sale now. I don't think it's going to sell in a rush. Are all banana plugs the same? You get different sizes, Paul T, but there is a standard 4mm banana plugs tend to be the standard. And the height, says Mr. Eggcake, indeed. I wouldn't want a 6'4" penis. That would be very inconvenient. Could just go to basically a toilet cubicle, point it over the door and pee, whether someone was in it or not. That'd be quite handy, maybe not. Busy urinals, just walk behind them and just shove your hand through with it and then have a pee. That would be quite useful, but really not too convenient. You'd have to wrap it around your waist. Look at that really fat guy. It's not fat. Size 13 shoe, Palmet. No, size 15. Or a size American 16. How big is your schlong, Clive, Minky Moo? I guess it's average. I don't really know. I've not got any reference. Anyway, change of subject. It's all gone very weird. Two kayaks. Oh, the shoes, yeah. My dad's standard joke was he has to go down to the crossroads, turn round, Mick Spanner. Uh, Pamela, I say, what did the drummer name his three daughters? Badum-tsh. No, probably not. What's your name? Tsh. Mm. Weezybox, man, I'm so happy no one sees my boners. For a while, I was wearing work trousers that were far too tight. They were really narrow cut. They were not designed for bears. They fitted fine in the waist, but they didn't leave much space. And occasionally, like if I took a boner in them for any reason, it wouldn't go down. It would just basically, and it was really fucking obvious. And I remember this woman pointing at me and shouting, "Oh my God, look at the size of his boner," in front of a big crowd. That was very embarrassing. I didn't wear those trousers after that. I got alternative trousers that were not so tight. Big Clive in spandex. I'll leave that to the wrestlers, Paul T. Very embarrassing. Bike pants are horrible for anatomical profiles, Mr. Margee, and those gimp suit things they have, the elasticy, like those chroma key type suits. Oh, they're just weird. Are you an animatronic? How do you know I'm not an animatronic? A very good animatronic. Big Clive out. I don't like leather, no. DC on, it's not my thing. Was your father similarly huge? No. I'm the black sheep in the family. I'm the weird outsized one. Although, having said that, one of my cousins is the same size with big feet as well. Genetics, probably. Is there a workwear brand that you recommend? Cedar stuff these days? Well, it depends what you're really looking for. But one of the most prominent and affordable brands in the UK is Port West. It's got a very wide range of stuff. Depends what you're looking for, though. Sia Vids, I don't think there is any subject that hasn't been discussed here. It's covered a lot, but it has been on the go for about 3 years now. It could have been the milkman, who knows? Dunno. I have not electrocuted any food for a while, Flying Monkey. In fact, you'll see that most, but not all, of those videos have been taken down due to problems with the risk of Karens using them as weapons, which is a shame. Low in rants tonight, Paul T. They've been subtle rants. I feel a fart coming on. Should I get the CO2 detector? This is where it turns into a shart unexpectedly and lives up to the problem here is, no, it's gone down, but I'll keep this handy. The other thing is I've got this pair of overalls on that is going to shield it. They're padded thermal overalls, so they're going to shield it. I'd have to actually put them into the pants for that. SoCax666, Clive, I owe you a big hug. Scattering his ashes on his birthday in March. Ah. Joe, today would have been my dad's birthday. But he is long gone. Would it detect a big brass hammer? Oh, it would, Chris Gurr. It would definitely beep when you hit it, probably. I wonder if it's a carbon monoxide detector mislabeled. It's not, Mr. Margee, because carbon monoxide detectors usually have basically a chemically activated battery in them, and it's quite big. How the pussy's little hut she has been by on a regular basis, but she's very picky and choosy. She only wants the very best kitty biscuits, and then she heads off to the next sucker to get more kitty biscuits. I will super chat a load of pounds if you shit yourself, Arthur Two Sheds Jackson. The problem is, I'd go like, I've shat myself, send the money, and he'd be like, no, haha, lol. Overalls, they are fart catchers. Paul T. Waterproof overalls are one of the worst for that. Fart, and then you just know the aroma is going to come out later on. It's just one of these hidden things about being an outdoor worker. I think the fart molecules will pass through the fabric, only the last bits will stay in the trousers. Ah. Time to do laundry, says Boudica. Indeed. My cat decided raw flounder is very tasty. I would expect cats would think all fish is tasty, China North Air Guns, except for little Hutchie, who grew up in such a way that she's never really experienced cat treats, real cat treats like, say, prawns, and doesn't know what they are. She doesn't know what a prawn is. That should be heaven to a cat. It's all gone very weird now. Is that Bavarian lederhosen workwear you have beneath your coat? It's what we see. It is not, breathes Scotland. It is Canadian bib overalls. Very different. Prawns are heaven, Pugster Josh. That's why it's always a bit annoying when the cat decides not to, licks it tentatively, and then it's ruined. And it's just a prawn that has been contaminated by cat slobber. Oh. I'm the only person at work tonight, so I brought in my Flipper Zero and I'm cloning Access ID and car charging cards. Are they all scanning okay? Are they encrypted or are they got rolling codes around like that? If they're the chunky tags. What's heaven to a prawn being eaten, John Pawson? Weezabox says, I'm wearing a yellow high-vis beanie. Look out. I have a yellow high-vis beanie. Got any new OpenSCAD scripts in the works? Nothing really major. There is a project coming up. It's not been released publicly yet, but it's been released to Patreon for I'm looking at it right now, the making a glitter lamp base for making a glitter lamp from scratch. Complete with cable restraints and lamp mounting position. Sugarline, is that green fire effect behind you done using twists of metal and rotating shaft? It is indeed, with green LEDs under it. It's a sort of fake fireplace, but it's a sort of foil that is on a rotating shaft. It is, suppose that is Canadian lederhosen, but not leather. I'm certain I have toxoplasmosis. That's something to keep an eye on, Mar. The Flipper's been so much fun to watch people use Bezobox. The thing is, it's nothing new about it. It's just a collection of the things in one unit, which is convenient, but it's now in the hands of the wrong people, the hobbyists, as opposed to the geeks. Ah. Can you hold a competition where the winner does a dual live stream with you? I'm not sure how well that would work, Palmet. Window vac won't turn on. That sounds like the ones that corrode inside. Ripped ass and a refrigerant leak detector. It went bunkers. And by the way, I'm wearing a set of Carhartt black, thoroughly padded overalls, and I just farted in the wait for the stink to hit my nose, says Hellhound. Yeah, now which type of refrigerant gas leak detector? Because some of them use ionization. Here's the odd thing about Carhartt. I mentioned this before, but it also applies to these overalls. They're not beard friendly. See these clips? they are really unbeard friendly. The Carhartt ones are probably one of the worst for snagging long beards. It kind of goes against the image of the American workman with a big long beard, and then the classic American overalls being Carhartt. It was clearly a woman who designed them. Ever considered doing a quiz game live stream? I've not considered that, Craig Matthews, but it could work. Many parasites eat the brain, especially the media parasite. Yes, chocolate jelly bean. You have to watch out for the media parasite. I got a lava lamp with a burnt out light. Will your glitter lamp work with the lava lamp? No, it won't, ELW. The lava lamp needs so much heat it would literally melt the plastic. What's the point of a window vac, Mike Hanley? It's actually a squeegee with a vacuum device for sucking the water up as you. So when you spray the window and you clean it, it sucks all the water off as you wipe it down. It works quite well. It's for cleaning indoor windows. Do you know how to get just the glitter lamp jars in their own, Pugster Josh? That will also be covered in the video. Calcium nitrate is the solution you're looking for to make the dense liquid for glitter. You're still going after 2 hours. I am still going after 2 hours. It used to be 3 or more hours. It's down to roughly 2.5-ish hours. Lachland. Now that's how Lachland is what it could be. In Scotland it would be a Lachland. Ah, Stinky Mo. We could have a toast to lost dads. It's a bit dark, but you know what? To our daddies. My fart is refusing to appear again, so the meter has been spared, but rest assured I will try at some point and see if it it detects Jägermeister. Very sensitive to alcohol. Do they snag your nips as well? No, they don't, Kieran Kenny, just beards. Thoughts on replacing cells and drill interchangeable batteries at NWB? I wouldn't necessarily replace the cells. I think it'd be cheaper just buying clone battery packs. I don't imagine American workmen that way, wearing me weed. I just imagine the sort of classic bearded workman. Maybe it's the bear thing going on. What temperature humidity is bungalow at tonight? 8 degrees Celsius, roughly 60% humidity. The Keep, are you passing time in a hotel? Ah. Thank you, Raven Looney. Much appreciated. Little Crow had a lovely day drinking in the big smoke, came back to the dulcet tones of Big Clive. Aha. How many inches to break the spot welds and nickel strips? Now, here's the thing, garbled user. I see people welding the battery packs together. I wonder how many actually pierce the actual metal of the battery itself and basically gradually vent the electrolyte out as gas. "60% humidity is a bit high, Clive. It's about as low as you can easily get it here, Minky Moo 2. Is that cold in Alamana? It is at the moment, Michael. Would the glitter lamp work with the lava lamp and a metal base? It would have to be all metal, the base, but you could make one, but it gets up to a very high temperature. Thank you, Stuart Cleary, much appreciated. Clive, do you exercise much? Walking, hill climbing? I walk at least a mile a day, often more. Over a typical year, it's about 500 miles I walk. Oh, I would walk 500 miles. That's what Google says, that I walked 500 miles. What it doesn't allow for is that for over a month on the Edinburgh to 2, a lot of those miles were up and down stairs. So you're not, doesn't look like you're moving much, but you are. Wonder what the lava is in lava lamps, Pugster Josh. It is standard paraffin wax weighted down with a chlorinated solvent like, well, actually you can use trichloroethylene, or you can use the ones that are least soluble in water, perchloroethylene. And you just balance it, and the water is literally water, but with a slight touch of surfactant in it, and also glycol sometimes for balancing. I wonder how many Tesla batteries explode during manufacture. I wouldn't expect that many. Evolution says I generally walk 30 to 40 miles a week. That's good. That's through your work, though. You're walking along tracks, aren't you? Which is actually kind of harder than working across level ground. Can we have a latency test? The latency test is roughly 1 second, because I kind of know that. It's not nudged for a while. Uh, and losing temper, I've not really lost my temper much. Latency test, 1 second. Will vape set off detector? I don't think so. There's alcohol in my breath. So that's going to skew this. It's not going to be an accurate test. It detected. I think that was the ethanol. Perchloroethylene, for those wondering, is the dry cleaning solvent. I remember during all my lava lamp experiments ages ago, before the early days of the internet, in fact, before the internet, because I published the first page on the internet was lava lamps, but I couldn't even put pictures up in that era. It was all text. I went into the local dry cleaning place, said, could I buy some of the dry cleaning solvent? And the woman said, certainly not. Oh, we can't give you dangerous solvents. You're probably going to drink or sniff them. And it's like, fucking cow. Now you can just buy it off eBay, so... Ah. Can we pay to have a tour of it? No, Minky Mutu, you cannot see my hoard. It's a mess. It's embarrassing. It's just detecting humidity. It's detecting the ethanol on the breath from the alcohol. A load of Teslas came off a moving transporter. No fire. Shocked. Not. Well, Kieran Kennedy, I was looking at a news article about two trucks that hit each other, and they were saying huge fireball and all the flames. I'm thinking, well, that's refreshing change. It's a gasoline vehicle that they featured in the news, because so many of them blow up every day that they don't feature them. But as soon as one electric car blows up, oh, it's all over the headlines. That's the news. Take that, laundry cow. Yes, Mr. Red Cake, you go and snort your overtly strong perchloroethylene. I've got gallons, thanks. Now, I don't need your chloroethylene. Carbon tetrachloride, yeah, that's the one they banned. That's what used to be used in lava lamps until it was banned for being carcinogenic. If it was carcinogenic, GS1512, do they have absolute definite proof of that? Or was it just the fact that people who worked in factories with it all the time just basically gave up in life for their miserable factory experience of that era? Karen's dry cleaning, that's it. What was it like meeting Minky Mutu? He was different from what I expected. Technical as well, that's nice. Anyway, the stream is going on for 2 minutes more, just so you know. Then I'll be back next week. I have a carbon tetrachloride fire extinguisher. It was used as a fire suppressant, Zygroff. Perkin Auto Parts stores. Yes, absolutely. It's used as brake cleaner. Norm Swan, different. Did you unsubscribe? What? I think your detector's a breathalyzer. I think it is ELW. Trichloroethane was a good solvent. Then they clamped down it. Are you a happy person? I think mostly I'm a happy person, Morrison EV. Carbon tetride was very good for removing grease, but back then, and when we were using it at work, you put your hands in it because, well, that was just standard practice. Goodness knows what solvents I got exposed to. The stream is going on for 1 minute. Red Ed Forster, time flies when you're trying to see whether or not soldiers flowed in teeny tiny little connections. That is true. I'd be happy with all those lights. What? Turns your hand white from dissolving the grease. It does will the cat, but then so does isopropanol and acetone. That's another thing. There's a thing going about research saying that the ultraviolet nail varnish curers cause finger cancer. They just completely ignore the fact that they've slabbered their fingers in, first of all, they soaked them in acetone, and then they put on ultraviolet light sensitive nail lacquer. And we all know that the light sensitive lacquer causes skin sensitization. And it's so maybe that's what actually caused it. It's very strange. Anyway, because I don't think it would compare in any way to the amount of ultraviolet, UVA, and blue light you'd get exposed to by daylight. But that's, they were looking for a 10-year funding project. I think that's really what was driving that. Well, that was bitchy, but true. That's scientists for you. Looking for research funding, anything. Woofle. Supermodels getting cancer on their fingers from nail varnish. Yes. Everybody stop using nail varnish. Do you know what they should ban? They should ban the bits that make it set, you know, like they've done with every other product. Ban the colour as well. Yeah, ban all the bits that make it work. Bitch, bitch, bitch. Woofle. I should make a video about that. How they're trying to make it out that the UVA, well, the thing is, facial solariums also put out the same wavelength of UVA, and disco lights put out the same wavelength of UVA, and insecticutors use that to attract it, and they've got much more purple tubes, greater distance, but yes. Anyway, before I go, let's breathalyze myself. Not bad, not bad. Need to drink more beer. Oh, I definitely need more beer. One moment. Oh, there we go. Anyway, that is the stream and coming to an end. Sorry about your cat getting terrified by the beeping. That's fine. And I shall see you next week. So until then, have a good week. Awkward moment.